Everyone, it's Cornelius here again. We are going to take a look at type coercion. So this is an easy concept, but some people don't truly understand how to get around type coercion in JavaScript. I know JavaScript can be a confusing programming language sometimes, and type coercion is one of those concepts that makes it look even harder than it is. So please, once again, subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thank you very much in advance. So type coercion is simply the conversion of values from one data type to another, right? So let's see an example. Let's assume we do something like this. Let A equals, let's use 3. Then we go down and say let B equals, now this time around we use a string, but inside the string we still add 3. So we go ahead and say let total equals A plus B, right? A plus B. So what do we expect to see? Let's console.log total and save, come to the terminal and do node type coercion. So we get 33. But shouldn't 3 plus 3 be 6? Well, I'm going to explain what happened here. You see, we created our variables A and B with the value of 3, right? Then the variable A is a number. We created the value of 3 as a number for variable A. Then the other variable B, we created 3 as a string. Now, obviously, these two are different data types. Then in our total variable, we went ahead and used the addition operator on variables A and variable B. So what happened in this case was not the value of the variables being added together. No. Instead, what happens is that the value of variable A, which is a number, gets placed beside variable B. In other words, the value of variable A gets converted to a string by JavaScript. So by placing variable A beside variable B, we got 33. So what happened here is not A being added like 3 plus 3, no, but the value of A placed beside the value of B. And that was how we got 33. So in this case, JavaScript forced the number by converting it into a string, and that's why we use the word coercion, because coercion means to force, do it against its will, right? It's a number, but for us to perform this operation using the addition operator on it, JavaScript had to make it become a string against its will. So this type of conversion is what we know as implicit type coercion. Implicit type coercion. Now, implicit type coercion is the one that JavaScript, the programming language, does for us to be able to carry out an operation. And that operation in this case is using the addition operator to place the value of A beside the value of B. Now, the other type of type coercion we have is called the explicit type coercion. And this is the one that is done by you, the programmer. But before we go there, let's talk a little bit about the comparison of types. So there are two ways to do it. There are two ways we can compare the values of variables. And the first one is by using the double equal sign, and the second is the triple equal sign. So let's go ahead and try to use the double equal sign first, and I'll tell you the difference between them. So we do if A double equals B, we should see console.log, they are equal. They are equal. Then we are going to use the else also. Else console.log, they are not equal. So what we are trying to do now is we are trying to check if A is equal to B. Then after we run this code, I will explain to you the difference between the double equal sign and the triple equal sign. So let's save. And after that, I will also tell you why you should always use the triple equal sign instead. So we get they are equal. Now, why do we get they are equal, even though they are not the same data type? Well, this is because the double equal sign checks only the values of the variables, right? So it checks if 3 here is equal to 3. So it says they are equal. The double equal sign is not checking if the 3 here as a number is equal to 3 here as a string. It's not comparing their type, just the value. And this type of conversion is usually called abstract or loose comparison, right? So it's called abstract or loose comparison. Now, what if we go ahead and use the triple equal sign? Let's just come here and add one more equal sign. Save and go ahead and run our code. We get they are not equal. Without even changing anything in here, we get they are not equal. And why is that? Because the triple equal sign checks not just the value. Okay, it's not 3 is equal to 3. But what about their data type? It checks, is the 3 here equals to 3 here as a string? Is the 3, which is the value of variable A, as a number? Is it equal to 3 here, the value of B, which is a string? And we get they are not equal. So for the triple equal sign to give us a value of they are equal, we need to, unless we change this to a number. So if we go ahead and save, run our code, we get they are equal because now they are both numbers. And you can see here we also get 6. So, but we don't want to use number for both. We're simply going to change it back to a string. Now, please subscribe to my YouTube channel once again. It might not cost you anything, but it definitely means a lot to me. Now, let's talk about the explicit type coercion. So earlier I talked about how JavaScript coerced this number against its will and placed it beside the variable B, and we got 33 right here. So what if you, as the programmer, wants to take power into your own hands? And this is when we use the concept of explicit type coercion. So in this case, we are going to be using the objects or the methods of the number and strings. So let's go ahead and do something like this. Let's say console.log number. and we put a string inside it. So let's put 2. We save, and what do we get here? We get 2 as a number, not as a string. Remember, the color of the strings are in white. We get the 33 in white. They are not equal in white because they are both strings. But the 2 here, even though it's a string here, we got it as a number. So for you to be sure very well that it is really a number, let's go ahead and use the type of number. Save, come down here, and what do we see? We see number. Okay, the type of this 2 here is a number, even though it was supposed to be a string. So let's go ahead and do something like okay, let me Control D and change the value here to, let's say, hello. We save, come down here. We still get number. It's telling us that hello is a number, but we know hello is not a number. But because we've used the number method on it, number constructor, rather, it is the object of number in JavaScript. So using that number object, we get hello as a number here. So let's go ahead and console.log. We can still do more things with this. Let's check the values of Boolean. Let's check the values of Boolean and do number true, right? So we come down here. Let me just Control D, another D again. So we change this to false, and we change this to null. Null is another what's it called? Null is another primitive data type in JavaScript. So we change it to null. We save our code. So what do we expect to see? Now, for true, we are going to get 1, and for false, we get 0. Remember, in computer science, we do things like ones and zeros in your binary. I don't know if you still remember things like that. So true is represented as 1, and false is represented as 0. Now, null is an empty object in JavaScript. It means nothing. There is nothing inside it, but it is still an object. So when we run our code for null also, we are going to get 0. Exactly how we thought it was going to be. So for true, we got 1. It is represented as 1. And for false, we got 0. And for null, we got 0. So in a separate video, I'm going to talk about truths and falsy values. So this same thing we've done with numbers here, we can do them with string. Let's copy all this and just come down here. In your programming career, you are going to be copying and pasting a lot, but make sure you don't base your entire career on copy and paste, right? A lot of people make that mistake. They just go to Stack Overflow, copy, paste, but it shouldn't be like that. Always make sure you write your code yourself. And that's why I'm not putting any link to any repository for this tutorial I'm making, because I want you to be typing it out yourself. So we change this to string. String also. This is also a string. So when we save, what do we see? We are going to see 2 here. Let's change the 2 to a number. So we are going to see 2 here, even though we put it in here as a number, but it is inside the string constructor, right? So the constructor automatically coerces it into a a string. So for true also, we are going to get 1. For false, we are going to get 0. And for null, we are also going to get 0. So what if we come here and run our code? So we get string, string, true, false, null, right? So why those ones are represented as 1 and 0 is because they are in numbers. So they are represented as 1s and 0s. But here, they are represented as true and false. So the same works for strings exactly. But that's all for this video. I don't want it to be long too much. You can simply check online for resources. There are still resources online where you can check and do more things with this, and make sure you try out different techniques you can use with this code. Mess around with it, and that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.